Day 3 of your program is going to be lower body focused with an emphasis on the glutes and the hamstrings. Move number 1 is going to be on the right leg only. You've got a split lunge straight into a single leg deadlift. So with that split lunge, right leg's going to go forward. We're going to bend the knees like you're going into a static lunge. And for that single leg deadlift, you're simply going to load the right leg, hinge forward, and keep that back nice and flat as you trace the quad and the shins all the way down. For move number 2, you'll simply switch the legs, left forward, right back, load the left, hinge forward, and trace that left leg down. Options to modify here include kickstanding that opposite toe for the deadlift, keeping both feet on the floor, and just like before, hinging forward, dropping the chest, and reversing to an almost straight up and down position. For move number 3, we're going to keep one of those dumbbells and we're going to take this down to the floor for a right side only fire hydrant. That dumbbell is going to go in the crook of your right knee. We're going to find a tabletop position and we're simply lifting your right knee straight out from your center glute. So when I say straight out, I want you to focus on keeping the knee and the center glute in line, lifting, and slowly controlling back to center. For move number 4, we'll simply switch those sides. Now, one other thing to keep in mind with this movement, make sure that the hips are as square as you can. Think pulled in towards the floor like you're in a plank position, and whichever knee is on the floor, let's be mindful of not making that side too heavy. We're focusing on the side lifting with the dumbbell. For your final movement, we're going to take this all the way to a bridge position on the floor for a hip thrust. Now you're going to keep that single dumbbell. It's going to go right across the hips here. Plant the palms. Fingers are facing your butt. Option to put the knuckles down instead of the palms if you have trouble with the wrists here. And we're simply going to lift the hips, think straight line at the top, and control to the bottom. Now this one's a slow tempo. I want 3 seconds to the top, 3 seconds to the bottom. That butt hovers above the floor, maybe touches for a second before we come right back up. Now let's keep the feet as connected to the floor as you can. Heels are down, toes are down, and we're pressing through those heels the entire time. That's going to do it for round 1 on day 3. Round number 2, move 1 is going to be a sumo squat. So let's rack those dumbbells on the shoulders, take those feet a little bit wider than the hips, and point those toes 45 degrees out. Now we're going to go slow in both directions on this one. 3-4 seconds down, 3-4 seconds up. Remember, the goal here is to keep tension on the band the whole time. So keep those knees pressed out. And always we've got a little tension in the core. So rib cage is pulled in and that back stays nice and flat. For move number 2, we're going to take this to a regular width squat with 2 tap backs. So weights can stay where they are. Hold the squat, tap right, tap left, and then come right back to your standing position. So those taps come from a squat hold position. Make sure we're not rising. Make sure nothing changes with the angle of the back. And make sure that we're light on the tapping toe and heavy on the planted foot. For move number 3, we're going to take this down to the floor. All weights are down. We've got a seated abduction, aka we're going to be pressing the knees out. So you're going to plant your butt on the floor. You're going to walk your heels close to the butt and you're going to come up on those tippy toes here. Now pay extra special attention to the upper half of your body here. Chest is forward, shoulders are back, rather than rounded with that spine. We're arched, and we're going to press the knees out to your furthest point, hold for a split second, and then control as you come back together. For move number 4, we're going to take this to a donkey kick plus a hamstring curl on your right side. So just the band here. We're going to press up for that donkey kick, straighten the leg out, and then curl that heel all the way to the butt here. So from that knee, in line with that other knee on the floor, we're going to send the heel straight towards the ceiling, hold, straighten, bend, and come right back down. Option to take this down on the forearms, and as always, like we talked about with that fire hydrant, be mindful of the knee on the floor and how heavy that sensation is. Remember, not too heavy, hips pulled in, square to the floor. For move number 5, we'll simply switch the sides, you know the drill. Last move, we're going to find our feet, we're going to keep the band, and we're going to find those dumbbells again. We start sumo squat position. We've got 1 sumo squat. We're going to pivot right for a lunge, pivot back to center, sumo squat again, pivot left for a lunge. So we're just changing the angle of the toes here. Everything else stays in line. Those knees stay over our center foot. And that's going to be a wrap for day number 3